Hello and welcome. Hope everyone's doing good. I'm doing fine. It's a lovely morning. Um, yeah, finally got to a spot where I'm pretty happy for summer. So now I can just sort of concentrate on the stuff going forward and enjoying it all, hopefully. So first things first, grass is doing all right. I've only just given it a couple of cuts so far. It's been a couple of weeks since I did it, so I'll keep doing that, layering up a bit of sand as I go, and hopefully we'll turn that into a putting green, but we'll sort that out at some point. A bit rough around the edges. You can see I got me Asplenium nidus up there in the basket. It seems to be the best place for it because you can see it's just getting dappled sun now, and then even when the sun comes from our right hand side, it comes through the trellis, which is dapple shade as well, so I think that'll do all right there. It sort of breaks it up a bit. It's not great, that little bit, but you know, until I decide what I'm going to do with it, turn it into a bar, yeah, I'll just have to get something in there. So I have actually put a bracket down over by the fig tree. I'll probably put a Boston fern in there, you know, the Nephrolepis exalta, I want to say. Anyway, I don't want to waffle on too much. We'll just go around and have a quick look at how everything's doing and go from there. So let's crack on. As you can see, there's the nidus. Very nice, very lovely. Hopefully it will like it outdoors, but I guess we will find out. So the two Jurassic Golds, they've come out okay. They were orange. You can just see a faint bit of orange every time a new one comes up. It's kind of orange, and then they turn green, as you can see there, but they're quite nice. Even when they're green, they've got quite a nice sort of form to them. So yeah, that's okay. You can see I've still got my irrigation half rigged up there. So what I've done with this patio, as you've probably seen, is I've actually put it down properly. Well, not properly, but just properly enough for the summer. The trouble is I leveled it all out, and then that one stone where the blechnum I've put in, because I just used the old offcuts I had, which is why it's all different colours and things like that, and I had one stone that had a crack in it. So I've made that into a little feature and put that blechnum spicant in there, so that looks quite nice. That's actually in the ground, and yeah, the trouble I had is that stone that it's in is a different thickness to the rest of them, so where I'd leveled it all off and done it, that one sticks his head up a bit. It's not perfect, but for now it's okay. So you can see I've brought the levels right out on this, obviously with the grass, but this is nice and flat here. So when people are sat up there, got their feet out, people can still walk by, so that's good. Other than that, around here the major story is the Tracheospernum jasminoides. You can see we're getting some nice new growth on it. I was under the impression that it was going to take a while to settle in. Looks like the ants are starting to get a bit interested in it though, which is slightly worrying, but we will see what we will see. Otherwise, just the same old ferns down there doing what they do. The holly fern on the right, and the Polysticum congestion down there. So that's quite nice. Lovely little seat, happy days. Fatcedera is going some. This is my job for today actually, is to tidy up this. I'm going to run a couple of wires across. You can see I have put the little hook eye things in there, just right there in the dead center, and then I'll just run a couple of wires. I'll take the bamboo out and attach that properly, because it's just starting to get a little bit restricted. So if we come across, this is a new fern as well. I can't remember if I went into this one before or not, but this is a Polysticum susimense, otherwise known as a Korean rock fern. You can see the form on it, it's very nice, quite sort of pronounced, as I would call that. So yeah, I'll shove him in there. He's next to some rocks, so that seems to be a good place to put him. Other than that, you can see I've rigged my irrigation up. I went through that on the last video, so I won't go too much into all of that. If we come around this way, so here's the new maidenhair fern. The idea of this is for it to cascade down this sort of bank here. So yeah, the only thing is with this is that you may remember I had one of these last year. I put it in the vertical garden and the wind tore it to shreds. and killed it, and I couldn't recover it. And you may also remember how the wind is absolutely brutalising this cyathea, so I thought where would be the better place to put this? Right in the middle of the windy bed. But I'm hoping it's all right down there, because the sort of, you know, the cyathea is up high, whereas that's sort of down low and behind the benches, so that should be all right. But yeah, hopefully that will fill out all of that. We got that Polysticum brawny eye there, which, you know, I've only put in a few about a month ago. The Joyous Lepipodoba, like the Korean rock fern, is quite nicely pronounced, but it's lost a bit of its colour, but it did look really nice. I can't remember, I think it was the Lay in the Lawn one where I sort of showed that one in all its glory. Splenium's looking nice, Hart's Tongue Fern, the Wallaceiana casualty of the winter. The original crown never recovered, again with the other one. But you can see it's throwing up some new stuff, so we'll leave that in there and see what happens next year. Got the Polysticum plumusum congestion. I've forgotten the name of it, but it's a Polysticum basically in there. See the cyathea is doing well. I think it's about 3 weeks since I last showed this. You see this fronds just coming out here, and we've got this big one coming towards us, which looks nice and gnarly. So hopefully that's into its stride now, and now I've got the irrigation set up, that'll go. Small Dixonia recovered from the winter, so I'm happy with that. The Ethereum nipponicum crested surf, which is that sort of silvery thing, it's trying, but I've got a feeling I've put that rock straight on top of it, so we'll leave that and see how it is. I've still got my anchors for me Dixonia in. It is starting to flush out, as you can see, with all the new fronds, but I'll wait until they settle and drop down, and then I'll start chopping out these old brown fronds once they've got a bit of weight pulling the crown apart, so pretty happy with that. But what I'm liking at the moment is I'm just starting to get that aspect of stuff overhanging the play area, namely this Fatsia, which is yeah, doing really well, this one. Nice big leaves, I don't know, pretty big. Happy with that. The Polypodium down there is doing okay. The Atrata's a bit of trouble with snails and slugs, but you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. I put the new Cyathea australis in there. So the idea of this, if you can see it down there, we've got a new frond coming up, is that the Setiferum and the Atrata will come over it. The fronds will come out of the australis high, and then the fronds from the two either side of it will give it a bit of protection in winter. Fig tree's doing alright. I decided to keep it there in the end, just because I did. Another Droptrits, Wallaceiana there, the one that's sort of coming out underneath, is all nice and lime green. That was a small plant, so I don't know if that's the one that survived or not. The Polysticum polyblepharum is still kicking out new ferns, but because everything else is growing, I think it's just lost that contrast where it looked like April and sort of 2 weeks either side of that, it really stood out, but now it's starting to go back into the background. Other than that, all the aspleniums, this other Fatsia is doing really well. This one's a bit more sun. There's a really big leaf at the back there, I won't go too much into it. This thing's an absolute monster. Polysticum setiferum Herrenhausen, nice and easy to get. Survive winter easy as you like, and you can see this is going to be a real nice one for coming out over. You can see how far that's coming out over, so looks nice and stately at the moment because it's so big, so happy with that. The other Cyathea Cooperii, still struggling a touch, but it's starting to kick out new fronds, so hopefully once they get going, it gets a bit of energy into it, it'll do it. The Polysticum, just normal Setiferum there, again with this, the two Setiferums either side, they'll grow over that and the Cooperii will grow out of it. Schefflera tyranniana doing really well. Look at all that new growth. A few of the old ones getting a little bit munched, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. This is the original Blechnum spicant. Yeah, you see just how nice that looks, nice and lime green, nice and Jurassic-y. Hopefully that will size up a touch. But yeah, for now it looks great. Once these get a bit bigger, it will be much needed ground cover there. The Peleostega verbenoides. Should really chop those flowers off, but I figure I'm going to leave it just for a year before I start doing any pruning and just see what happens with them. Yeah, so this is the Blechnum chilense. I saw one of these down in Desert to Jungle with 1.5 metre fronds and a trunk on this, so yeah, food for thought. That's good. So first casualty, as I'm calling it, is of the winter, is this one. It's the Woodwardia radicans. Funny enough, it's actually from Europe, so, and I did sort of chuck a load of, as you can see, bark and all that on it. Maybe it rotted or maybe something else has happened, but I'm going to dig that one up, put them in a pot, put them out the front in the good conditions for ferns, you know, as in dappled shade all day, because I've got those big trees. See what happens with it. I'm going to put a conifer in here. I touched it last time. I'm just deciding what to do with it all layout wise. Another casualty, not from the winter but from slugs. About a week ago, this Schefflera rhodendifloria, which you can just see straggling around in the middle of all my copper and coffee things, it was flushing like the Schefflera taiwaniana. As you can see, all that new growth that was there, and then I came out one day and all that new growth had gone. So I sort of just put a bit of protection up on it for now. I'm undecided what to do with that, because that should be in there quite nicely rooted now, because I put it in last October, so I might take that Matichua out, the big fern behind it, just so the slugs and snails can't climb up that and get onto it, and just give it a chance. Or I might take it out of the ground, pot it up and see how we do. The asplenium's doing well. This is the, I forget, I think it's a Polysticum setiferum. Again, this is the idea of this is that it's low and hangs over the side. Lophosaurus is bouncing back, so quite happy with that. That was a bit of a worry, but he seems to be doing okay now, so hopefully that'll just go on and on and on, which I need it to, because I'm probably gonna have to divide on this, because I can't seem to get hold of another one, so that's annoying. Tetrapanax doing okay. Really happy with this, because I thought I'd killed it last year where I overwatered it when it was really young, but it survived the winter in there and is rewarding me now. You can see all the deciduous ferns are going crazy. You've got the two royal ferns on the right. There is this sort of more feathery one is actually the lady fern, the Ethereum Felix femina. That's all good. So I actually did right in the end. Sorry, I'm just that is what that is, a Hippolpis punctata. You can see this thing's coming back. I might put this over in Camellia Corner, just because it's got quite a nice form to it, and it's deciduous, which means that I can dig it up at the end of the year. The Saxifraga stolonifera, which sketched me out with all those stolons, so I took it out, is actually starting to flower now. Don't know if you'll be able to see it very well, but no, sorry, I can't get that in focus. It's awkward because the sun's shining right on the screen there, so I couldn't see it. Over here, another casualty of the winter, up in the high one, is what was in there, which is a Denostadia glauca, which is kind of a small version of that from what I've seen, but you can see the Arariostega pravi pinata is doing really well. Got a lovely sort of form to it. Really stands out against that, so I may get another one of them and put it on the left there. I think take that Denostadia out and put them in a pot just to make sure. These banana pups, which I chucked on the compost but are actually living, I'm going to pot up into that big pot and put him where this turtle sandpit is for now. That's just covering a load of sins there, and then that will marry up with that one, the Ensete. So speaking of the Ensete, this one's going okay now, starting to kick out a few leaves, a few strong leaves, so that should come on leaps and bounds. This Polysticum muntium, or the sword fern, it hasn't recovered. I bought another one because the other one just didn't look like it was doing anything, so I've chucked that one in a pot out the front. We'll see if he comes back. That one there, which I've forgotten the name of already, I think it's a Kiliensis tourmentosa. It likes full sun, that it's nice and grey, so we'll leave him there as a bit of a space filler. Ginger's starting to come up. This is Hedechium greenii, a bit late this year for my money, but they're starting to show, so cue slugs coming in and eating that, but it is what it is. There's the other Wallichiana again. It's sort of trying to send up the old crown, but I don't think it's going to. They must have got frosted, so it's sort of spreading via the rhizome, but it looks very nice, that one. I mean, look at the colours, lime green with the black stipe, lovely jubbly. The Erythrosora, or the autumn fern, you can see why, because it looks like it's in autumn even though we're in spring, and it actually works in reverse, so that'll get greener as the year goes on. The Atrata, standard great fern, looks good. Coming over here, yeah, bananas are doing okay. Starting to kick out some leaves. This one's finally recovered. I'll be interested to know if they get loads of weight on the top of them, if they snap in half or collapse in the year. Canna's coming out. This is Canna iridifolia or something like that. Sorry, I forgot. There was an arachnoids in there. It wasn't doing very well, and I realised it's because that's where the cat lies in the middle of the day. So I've taken that out, put him in a pot out the front, which is nice and shady. We'll get him recovering, put him on the other side of the garden. Atrata's doing nice. This Dropteris Pindarini's doing nice. I put a couple of the new ferns down here. I put the holly fern over to the right because that's full sun, so it's opposite the other one, just to see how they do. And then we've got this other Nephrolepis cordifolia, which I just bought. That's in there. That's the equivalent of the same as that one there in the corner, so that should look quite nice when they all bush out and sort of marry up mirror wise. The Lophosauria, not the Lophosauria, the Lonicera Hildebrandiana giant Burmese honeysuckle is sort of, I get the feeling it's kind of and ahhing about it. It is growing, it's not growing amazingly. It's only been in 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks now, so hopefully that will start doing something in a bit. But yeah, I take it it's just adjusting to the light. I don't think I hardened that off too well. But yeah, that's okay. So over in Camellia Corner, 2 camellias lost all their flowers, but you can see all the new growth coming through, so that's nice. They're all going to hide that nicely, so you just sort of see the eye of the statue and it catches your eye. Kept one of the Saxifragas in there, that's doing okay. This Ethereum Ocanum isn't doing very well, so that's full sun, so I'm going to take that out at some point. As said just a minute ago, there's the other Nephrolepis cordifolia. Where this potted Matichua is, I'm going to swap with the Hypolpis or whatever it was and put that actually in there. Another little Saxifraga. Bamboo's doing well. It's starting to send up some big spikes now. So what I want to do is chop all the other ones off so they can grow up straight, which I will do. And then in here, another Erythrosauria. Look how good that looks. It just absolutely pops out. It's great fern, that. I mean, bulletproof, like as in survived -8 -5 for 2 weeks. Didn't even, that, not this one but the other one, didn't even think about it, and now it's flushing out really nice and red, so really happy with that. Here's the Cyathea australis, the small one that's in full sun. It's thrown out this new frond coming towards us. Got loads coming out, so I'll be interested to see how that does. Here's the other Lepidopoda, not doing too well. Don't think it likes the sun, so you know, this is why we get 2 of them, so we can see which one works best. And then it's either a male fern dropped, it's Felix Mass, or a Phoenix. That one I've got a feeling that's just the male fern, the Felix Mass, but he had a hard life last year. He was under a dahlia, and then what happened to him, oh yeah, the banana leaves collapsed on top of him, and he didn't have anything, but now you can see he's flushing out quite nice. That's full sun, that likes full sun, so that is good for my money. The only other thing is the Eucomis bulb, which I found, which I had walked on all winter and was compacted. I'm not sure it's going to do anything, but I've put it in a pot now just to you know, see how it does basically. So yeah, we're all doing all right. I've got a few little climbers down there, the same ones I had last year, just because mold is growing them. I'm going to pot them in the 2 pots in here, but otherwise yeah, it's looking quite nice. Got the grass down so the kid can play with it. Got a nice big one, so perfect example of why I extended the patio out. When the missus is lying in a sun lounger, we can still get round. When there's a table and chairs there, can still get round. When the kids paddling pool goes up, which I'm just about to get out, can still get round it. So yeah, looking good. Just a few more little bits just to tidy up, but other than that, now I've got the irrigation hooked up like I did first thing this morning. Came out, turned the ground level one on and just let that run for half an hour, and then yeah, did the spray one and the high ones for 15 minutes to soak the tree ferns and do those aspleniums and the prairie piñata up in the high one. And yeah, happy days. Don't have to sit there watering everything. I'm still watering the grass at the moment, but obviously that'll only be another week before that sort of takes properly. So yeah, happy days. I'm sort of nice because now I can concentrate on moving forward with things rather than chasing my tail. So plant wise, the two things I need to worry about are the two last climbers, which is the hydrangea samanii, which is going to go between the Dixonia and the Fatsia under the lantern. Can't do that until I've done all of this trellis up here ready for it though. And then the Clematis amandii, which is going to go where all the deciduous ferns are at the back, but I obviously need to build up that sort of half of a fence, which means I need to tidy behind it, which means I need to get the light cable up, which is under all those rocks, so I need to take all them out to get it up. So not what I'm looking forward to doing just now, but you know, something to do that. And other than that, conifers. So yeah, I'm thinking with the conifers, where that Woodwardia radicans was, right at the back in that gap, maybe a sort of cypressy type one, Italian cypressy one, and then if that grows big it'll cover that sort of window up there, so that would be quite nice. Maybe a pine over there, and then there's a couple of others I've been looking at. I'm just doing research at the moment, so until I know what I want and what locations they're definitely going to go in, there's no point doing anything. But what I'll probably do is buy a couple of easy ones, put them in pots, and then just put them where they're going to go for the summer and see how it grows on me, or how they grow, more to the point. But yeah, there we go. Pretty happy. Hope you're all having a good day, and I will see you on the next one. Ta.